Now, okay, so like we were doing today in class, solving inequalities. Here's our example that we went over in class, which is 4 times x minus 7 is greater than negative 20. So when solving this inequality, we want to make sure that we're using our order of operations. And we have gone over the grouping symbols, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So we want to make sure that we are always abiding by those as we work through our inequality. And as we begin here, I'm going to acknowledge here that this is my variable in parentheses, and then I have a 4 being multiplied to it. So we get rid of that multiplication by the inverse operation of division. And of course, what I do to one side, I must do to the other. We know then that this will cancel out. 4 over 4 is going to be 1. And I'm going to rewrite this as, get rid of that, rewrite this as x minus 7 is greater than now negative 5. The only thing left to do is to move our 7 over to the other side, and we have x is greater than 2. And we've gone over how to graph that a few times. And simply on our line, we have, I take the shortcut here, I got 0, I got 1, 2, there's my 2, it's open, so open circle because it's greater than, and of course everything that we know greater than 2 is to the right, to the positive side, because those are all greater than 2. Okay, now to tie into our inequalities, we're often here when we talk about solutions, we have, is it always a solution, is it never a solution, or is it sometimes a solution? When dealing with inequalities, let's look at things, break it down simply that if I have 3 is greater than 4, 3 is never going to be greater than 4, and then therefore that I know if that's not true, then we are never going to have an answer if my solution is 3 is greater than 4, or an untrue statement. Whereas if I have 4 is greater than 3 at the end of my inequality, I know that this is actually always a true statement. So that would be always true. And then sometimes, that last example we had x is greater than 2. That is sometimes a solution. When given the solution, we know that if x is greater than 2, it's a true inequality, but we don't know if they're going to provide us a 2. If they provide us a 1, that is not greater than 2, and therefore it wouldn't be a solution. So if you have a specific x value, it falls under the sometimes category, and that is inequalities.